Hello everyone, Jose here, your fish keeping. This video, it's not going to be anything new for most of you, but remember that a lot of time I always say that I do this more thinking of new people who come into the hobby, or maybe perhaps you use something different and you may find something that may work a little bit better, as I've learned from some of you out there anyway, watching your videos. These are some of the things that I use or have used with my water changes. For me, time is a factor. I don't have a lot of time available because of my job hours and so on, and I've just used some things over time that have made it easier for me to do a fast water change. I think one of my videos, actually the Spanish version, where I said a quick water change, was probably the one that has had the most views of all my videos, probably about 20,000 views, which I was surprised. The English version, probably half of that or a third of that. Anyway, these are some of the things that I have done to make my water change a little bit faster and easier. So I'll kind of go through the progression of some of the things. Of course, the basic thing is the Python that we all use, which is this beautiful hose, which most of you have used. I've adapted a thermometer of mine so I can run the water for a little bit and just make sure that I temperature match the water. And I use this little thing here, just avoid splashing onto the kitchen sink a little bit. So this is what I've used this, but I think one of the most important things that I've used, that I have for all of my devices, is that I use quick connects for everything. These are little devices here, quick connects. You can get probably about 8 of them for under 20 bucks. Amazon, they really are neat things to use. You got the male and the female, and everything, since I use so many different adaptations, depending on what tank I'm changing and what I'm using, it is very easy to go from here to going to the pump directly here, or going to another filling gadget that I may use. So everything is quick connect. Anyway, so that's the Python. Now, one of the things that I've avoided doing over the time is that I try to avoid using one siphon hose that I've made. So each large tank has an individual one, so I do not, just from past experiences, to avoid cross-contamination, each of them, I drain 80% of the water once a week. And these are, and I have them labeled, this is for the 65 gallon, this is for the 120. They have different lengths depending on the tank. So I made these, and I use this 1 horsepower pump, which is very strong. So when it gets to here, it's at 80% for each individual tank. So that way I can leave it under the cabinet and I do not exchange the pieces. So some of you use some of these PVC versions of things. This is, again, it will be nothing new to you, but if any of you who do not use or use something different, you can certainly adapt to whatever you need. So I have ball valves on this one here, so I can close, go to the next tank, and go on and just doing all of them. It takes time to drain 80% of a 120 gallon tank. So if you drain it by gravity or you use the Python, you will wind up wasting a lot of water. If you use the Python hose, again, this one I have labeled as 120, so it's every tank has its own Python hose. Again, I try to avoid as much as I can cross-contamination. In my working tanks that are in front of me, 7 tanks, if one of them I'm treating for something, then I have 2 different ones that I use. One's for the clean tanks, one for the contaminated or quarantine tanks. And then I go just use a bleach solution periodically and clean them if I'm going to exchange them. Using the Python, you waste a lot of water because to drain 80%, it takes a while. And I just adapted over time stuff to make it go a little bit quicker. One of the early adaptation, I used this little pump. I don't know if this was part of a water heater or what it was, but I just took this little pump, found appropriate adapters, and this is electric. I attached the Python hose here. This goes out to the sink. So the idea was that this will suck water a little bit faster as I'm either gravel backing. This one is gravel, this is sanded. I don't gravel back at all here, I don't need to. So this was an adaptation that I use. I don't use it anymore because I over time found something that worked a little bit better. So I used to use this one here. Again, I just adapted to fit my needs. This 1 horsepower pump can drain 80% in about 6.5 minutes here, and then it's kind of more of a passive waiting for the thing to fill. So I drain all 4 of the big ones, and then I just go from 1 to 1 to 1 and just fill them and just kind of sit and wait and keep it there. I do keep a little water sensor attached, so that if I get distracted doing something else, it lets me know at a certain point when it's reached that level, so I don't overflood. I have fallen to sleep late at night doing water changes, so in an apartment with wood floors, definitely not a good thing. Never that much to cause a problem, just big scare and waking up panic. So the other thing that I use also, this is overkill for the 10 and the 20 gallon tanks, because it will drain. I have used it, but it can drain this water real quick. So what I use for the smaller one, I've used this smaller pump. This does 4 gallons per minute. It's a fraction of 1 horsepower. It's a small pump, but it gives me, again, without wasting water, using the Python. I cut a portion of the Python hose, which was more than I needed. And I just use, again, quick connectors here, so I can connect to the pump here, and then I can connect my siphon hose here, and I can go to the tanks and drain them and do what I have to do. Of course, not as fast, so I have time to siphon the bottom. They are bare bottom tanks, so all the working tanks. 2 of these tanks are sanded, white sand, and the 2 other are gravel, but the working tanks are bare bottom. So this one works really well for the small tank. I'm using the pump just to drain, then I can fill later. This other pump, a lot of you use this kind of pump. I used this early on. It is certainly slower, and I'm trying to find here what the output is. So this is a great pump. Again, a quick connect here. Everything is quick connect. So this one, the thing is, with going from pump to pump, I risk cross-contaminating and bringing stuff from one tank to the other, which I avoided. I've said many times in different videos that I did lose this whole tank to columnaris once. About 24 discus. I was losing about 3, 4, 5 a day, and everything else in the tank. A couple of things survived. So Harlequin rasporas and a gold gourami, which I was amazed that it lasted quite a long time. It lasted a few years after that. I no longer use this pump here, just to avoid. If I need it for something else, I could use it. But just dropping the pump in, I just found that it was kind of sometimes a little clumsy putting it in there. I just minimize or avoid cross-contaminating the same way that I use different nets. I don't go from one tank to the other. I put the nets in a bucket, then once a week I run them through a bleach solution and sterilize them, quote unquote, sterilize them. This big boy or big girl, depending whether it's Spanish or English, everything has a sex. I put the plugs in here, again, quick connect, so any water that's in there, as I'm moving it around and storing it under the cabinet, I don't spill water, and any water that remains in there, if it remains, it helps with quicker priming. I have one of these switches, which is on a remote controller. So every time, instead of turning the pump on and off and over time possibly ruining the switch and having a hard time replacing it, I just have this to a power strip here, and I just use a remote controller so I can turn the pump off, take it, change the drain tube, and go to the next pump, restart it again, and just keep doing that. Sometimes what I would do is just start the siphon with the pump, and then turn the pump off, and then just let it drain by gravity. It takes a little bit longer, but sometimes if I'm doing something else, I'm not in a hurry, like Saturdays. Today's a Saturday, so today's when I do my water changes. So then I can just let it drain normally while I'm occasionally cleaning the glass or doing something else with some of the other tanks, so that I can just multitask, so that I don't have to be running in 6.5 minutes, taking it here. So I just let it do gradually. Again, so some of these things, again, for the pros, are not new things. Some of these are not new things, and I've seen variations that you use this one. This one I made a few days ago. Again, instead of using the hook here, the ball valve on these, certainly they run a lot easier, and the idea for this is that I made a bunch of holes here. I've seen some of you just use a T-piece and let the water come down and then to the side, so it disperses the water pressure. On the sanded tanks, it creates a mess and it moves the sand out of the way. It just pushes everything to one side. So just to avoid that, this will provide a gentle stream. I saw Scotty from Raising Fishes. He had something similar to this, where he used a cup with a bunch of holes. I hang this on the side, and it provides a gentle stream for the other ones. But I just found that this one, even the ones with the pebbles here, it will make a hole as the water comes down. So this provides a gentle stream, and then I can just move this across to the tanks. This one goes well over the big tanks, but then I just made another one today, which I haven't used yet. This one has a smaller opening here, because with the smaller working tanks, the 10 and the 20 gallons, I have them side, so it's hard going with the other one. Either I spill water, or this one I can just put it in on the front end. As I open half of the lid, I can just put it down, and it's the same idea. It's just a gentle flow, and everything is quick connected. So again, this will provide a nice easy flow. And these are not new hacks to many of you. These are variations on some of the stuff that you already use. Didn't teach you anything new perhaps, but this is how I do things. And if anybody out there that is probably new into the hobby that wants to use any of these ideas, they certainly are time savers, and that's why I use them. Not that it's a genius ideas or anything, yes, it is a time saver things, and that's, again, time is gold. Thank you for watching.